So this is definitely going to be a weird video because none of my other ones have I had to do a post-com because of the timing, because of lack of scheduling. I've had to do it like this. So my grandpa here was mostly because it could switch in on Chandelier and with Life Orb could get a kill on most of his team, with exceptions being Rosalia, but that should die to Hyper Voice into Draco if it chooses Sludge Bomb or Spikes. This mon can one-on-one Rosalia with Roost, can defog away its hazards. I originally had Specs, but I needed defog in case Toxic Spikes came because my poison type isn't grounded. Berserker was here to stop Lanoon sweeping. Even after a belly drum, I'm air balloon. It doesn't have a coverage move that hits me and kills me, and Ironhead close combat can get a kill back. Swampert was almost exclusively here for Aerodactyl, which didn't come, so it ended up being Hariyama check. I have Stealth Rocks and Flip Turn because that lets me get in my Scarfer, which outspeeds most Scarfers or just Pokemon. He has a lot of fast mons on his team. You see on this team here, Meowstic's the fastest, but there were definitely some fast mons with Aerodactyl and Persian Galar. Rhyperior here was Life Orb Rock Polish, as every other week has been. This was there for a possible endgame, even though most of this came down to Moltres, which, as you can see, Flamethrower, Air Slash, Scorching Sands, Meowstic's frail if screens aren't up. Gorbis is kind of frail and needs to Shell Smash to do anything, to be honest, so that should have lowered Spadef. And Lanoon, which other mons deal with, so. And that does have extreme speed, but obviously I have Haunter and Berserker. So my main endgame was always going to be Agility Moltres here. And let's get into the game. So, the lead Grandpa, which it matched up well against Chandelier, didn't die to Lanoon, prevented Gorbis from setting up, and stopped the Rosalia hazards early. But Hariyama free knockoff against most of my teams, so I have to switch out here, and I went into Swampert because no Aerodactyl, I had to do something. Now, I wanted to get early rocks up. Turn 2, Swampert's in against someone that can't touch it. Now, I don't have good switch into Rosalia because my Moltres is offensive and doesn't have recovery, as we see here, agility and free attacks. So I decided, Grandpa, and to start clicking moves. Now I could defog, but I like Chandelier taking damage, and I've already realised if this is an Assault Vest Hariyama, that's the main problem for my Moltres, so even if just 6%, I need to get chip on it. This also lowers Lanoon's health after a belly drum, and it just weakens his team. So I let the rocks stay up here and start hitting away at Rosalia. Now I did check before this game, if Life Orb takes me below half, it does not trigger my ability Berserk. And Rosalia triggers that as I roost up. Now, it obviously can restore its own health, but Hyper Voice now 2-hit KOs after this boost. So, and we see Sludge Bomb does 29, 29, and after a Life Orb hit, I cannot 2-hit KO this, so I choose to roost up, as he does a good switch into Hariyama, which I would have loved the chip on. And I have to bring Swampert in again and take CC. I don't have lefties, so there's no point protecting, so I just Flip Turn out off Meowstic here. Now, I don't want any of my team to get Thunder Waved, but I need a mon that can 2-hit Meowstic after Light Screen or Reflects up, so I bring in my Scarfer Haunter. If it didn't Light Screen, I would have one-shot, so if he was baited to go for Psychic, due to him naturally outspeeding me, it would have been great, but no, they get the Light Screen up, which was a good play. And because of priority, he can't see I'm scarfed here. And I thought he would sack this, but nice switch into Lanoon. Now, at this point, I don't want to go hard into Berserker in case he uses like a dark move on me. but it does just belly drum. So here I've sacked Swampert, but I could have been aggressive, but I risked too much, so I didn't go for it. And Berserker here, yeah, just going to take Throat Chop, and Ironhead does kill, guaranteed at this range. Now this is the first major misplay of this game. Now, this one was played quite late, doesn't show in here, but I wasn't thinking, and I forgot that water resists steel, so instead of going for close combat, which would have blown this back, I go for Ironhead as it shell smashes, which lets it live on a good amount of health behind a screen, which sucks. Now, the screen's up, my only thing that can kill it through the screen is Drampar with a Draco, but there's a 1 turn left on the screen. So, as it does have Ice Beam here, obviously I have Vileplume Drampar, it's a good pick. Drampar dies, which I couldn't really have prevented. Now, you see me saying, I think I just lose, which I just lose to this. I've let this set up, double speed, as we see here, 223 doubled, is more than my Scarfed Haunter has, because I'm not max speed and I'm modest. So that's all I needed for Aerodactyl to die to Thunderbolt. So I think the game's over, but it turns out they're not running max speed, so I am still in this game. Although it's definitely a hard one. I am in the back. I still have Agility Moltres. Now, I don't know if this Hariyama is Assault Vest at this point. It's only taken rocks damage. So I need to know how much my Moltres is going to do to this. Rosalia's in range, Chandelure after rocks, I think is a roll, if I remember correctly. Meowstic's in range, but I cannot let it get up a light screen. And I don't know anything about this Hariyama set, although from knockoff close combat it could be Assault Vest still, which is worst case scenario. So to test this, I fire off a Thunderbolt, no crit, no power, Haunter drops. Now, this might seem dumb, but I need Moltres, and Meowstic's alive. So I go hard into Rhyperior here, and I Rock Polish, in case it switches, which did happen. Now, this was really big for me. I needed this Reflect, because a light screen, the game was over. And because I've set up, they choose Reflect, which I wouldn't call it a misplay, because this is definitely a dangerous mon, but it's a misplay because Moltres is far more dangerous to this team than Rhyperior, although he does not know I'm modest, max special attack, agility, so I wouldn't call it a misplay, but it definitely helped me out. And Meowstic drops, and yep, I'm Life Orb. But then we see here, Chandelure comes in, and Energy Balls. Now, if we look at my speed, I'm running a lot of speed, and I'm running Jolly. Now, at +2 with that much speed, that guarantees Chandelure is Scarfed, which means that Moltres is in the game. Now, this is the second huge misplay I made. I didn't Agility here. I decided to fire off a Scorching Sands. Now, if I deserve to lose the game for anything, this is why I should have lost the game. I didn't Agility there. Scorching Sands. Now, at that turn there, why didn't I Agility? A Sludge Bomb Poison into Fake Out from Hariyama, and a Scarfed Hit from Chandelure, probably Psychic, Shadow Ball obviously, not Psychic. I would probably die if I got Sludge Bomb poisoned, so if I'm going to win this, I need to take hit from Chandelure, and I need to flinch or crit the Hariyama, or dodge a move. Knock off in close combat shouldn't kill me with a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball max roll into knockoff high roll does kill me. So I decide I'm just going to go for the flinch. I think that's my best option here. Although if I agility'd here, the game was not guaranteed, but it was a lot safer. So yeah, I hit Rosalia with Scorching Sands, finish it with Flamethrower, and then we see Hariyama come in and Fake Out, which doesn't burn, but it's Guts, so it's kind of lucky. And I flinch. Now, the Air Slash flinched. Now, I asked Chron what move he clicked, and as it turns out, it was going to be a Rock Slide. So, the game is over here unless Chandelier crits, or I miss this next Air Slash, which I don't. Like, flinch into crit. I mean, I know the crit didn't matter, but either of those would have won me the game, and it is indeed a bra moment for my opponent. As Chandelier comes in, Shadow Ball does not crit. Crit wouldn't have even killed, and dies with Scorching Sands. Now, it feels like all the games in this league are having hacks, but they go around and they ruin games, and this was a ruined game. So, I can't really add much to this ending. My ending was always going to be Moltres. I had to flinch the Hariyama, and it happened. I believe in the end I played okay. Obviously there were major misplays, as I said. Should have close combated the Gorbis instead of Iron Heading. It would have been around here. Instead of going Drown Park, would have probably gone Haunter first, but I needed the light screen gone, I think. But I think it was bulky because it wasn't that fast, so that I probably did need a sack there. Could I have sacked a different one instead of Drown Park? Drown Park just lets Hariyama get a kill at this point, so no. That, I believe that Thunderbolt was the right play. I needed to know whether I had to flinch this or not. As it turns out, I did need to flinch it. Now, if I didn't let the Reflect go up there, nothing would have really changed. The Reflect didn't really do anything because Chandelier was scarfed, so I think knowing Chandelier is scarfed, I think the right play probably was to light screen, because I was almost max speed here. Well, 196 plus nature. I haven't seen Chandelier's speed stat in a while, but I believe Scarf Chandelier is over 400, so my speed would never be high enough. Yeah, no, it's over 400, so my speed would never be high enough to outspeed this. You know you have Energy Ball. You've seen my Life Orb. Light Screen here guaranteed the game, but Reflect went up. Energy Ball, Rhyperior drops. Yeah, I think I played alright in the end game. Yeah, definitely Agility on the Energy Ball would have been better for me as well. Neither of us played perfectly. But yeah, this turn was obviously really important with a flinch. Now, with a 70% chance not to get flinched and a 90% chance to hit the move, yeah, the odds were I lost here, but it's Pokemon, so I won. Because, as Pokemon normally is, the player who doesn't deserve it normally wins. Don't know why, that's just how the game works. So, that was a fairly low roll, but still Fake Out crit would have not mattered. The only thing that did matter in the game was this crit. Now, I don't think there was any other RNG in the game at all, other than crits on turns they didn't matter. Huge misplay, but it didn't turn out to matter. Yeah, I don't think there was any other RNG, so it just happened. The one turn that happened was the one turn it mattered most. So, yeah, it was a close game. Chron played well, and the end game he made it did give him the larger chance of winning, but 63 to 37 isn't terribly against me, and it went my way, so nothing I can do about it. I won that game despite RNG playing a big part, and yeah, that's it. Sorry I wasn't live this week. You know if it was live, I would be probably shouting at this quite a lot, because that was huge, and I knew from about here I knew I needed it, so I played everything for it, and it happened to go my way. So I was lucky this week, but it's a win. So yeah, see you next week for what's hopefully a live video.